It's the nation's favourite antiques experts.
Which way are the bargains?
Behind the wheel of a classic car.
Do you know where we are?
And a goal to scar Britain for antiques.
Act 1, Scene 1.
The aim, to make the biggest profit at auction.
Ta-da!
But it's no mean feat. There'll be worthy winners.
We're in the money.
And valiant losers.
Broken. Close your ears.
Will it be the high road to glory?
It's just delightful, isn't it?
Or the slow road to disaster? This is Antiques Road Trip. Yeah. Ah, the green lanes of Britain. Perfect for a trip in a classy classic motor.
If you were a car, what car would you be?
Well, I'm quite happy being this one, thank you
Would
very
you be a
much.
Mercedes-Benz?
Is that what this is?
Yeah. Oh, good Lord help us.
It's all change on this leg of the trip. The red Roadster has been swapped for this 1965 Mercedes 220 SC. At the wheel is our very own Catherine Southon, and on co-pilot duties, Phil Serrell. Looking happy.
I like this car, but in a way, I kind of preferred the other one. The other one, well, it was a lot narrower.
I think I'm doing quite well on this, actually.
Well, on the grounds we haven't hit anything yet, you're doing very well.
Philip, you cheeky so-and-so.
Point and squirt, that's your approach to driving.
No, it's not.
Well, yes,
How
it
do
is.
you
actually.
know? I'm a very, very good driver.
Who's told you that?
Oh, shut up.
On their last leg, Philip needed a firm hand.
I just don't know what to do next.
And Catherine showed she had the metal.
What do you think?
Not that it made any difference at auction. It was a question of who lost the least. Catherine started this trip with £1,500, but has managed to whittle it down to £390 for this last outing. Philip started with the same sum, but has a little bit less, with £295 to spend.
Well, I bought Rust. It's very Serrell.
Woodward.
I prefer mine.
And while Catherine has won 3 legs to Phil's 1, it's the Serrell pride at stake on this last road trip.
What I'm going to do this time, I'm going to spend every shilling. That's what I'm going to do.
You know this really annoying thing where you walk into a shop and you buy things instantly.
And lose money.
Our hopeful hunters started in Bristol and foraged eastward through Hampshire and Surrey before ending up in Hertfordshire. They'll be offering up their wares at the auction in Aylsham.
I could walk around
And do.
10
And do.
10 times
And do often.
for hours.
Yeah. I think I spent years of my life watching you walk around shops.
Yeah. This leg ends with an auction in the aforementioned Aylsham, but we kick off in Great Baddow, in deepest Essex. The village has been called one of the most handsome in the county. It's picture perfect on a lovely day, like today.
Feeling good? Sun is shining.
I've been here before.
Have you?
It just dawned on me.
Do you know, is there an antique shop that Phil hasn't been to?
After you.
Thank you.
Go to the left.
I am.
Baddow Antiques is packed with curiosities, carefully chosen by manager Martin. Well done, Marty.
Your money or your life?
Don't shoot.
Remember, Phil has £295 to spend.
You've got 2 tables here and they're very, very similar. But the difference is that this is really a country table and this is a town table.
The larger table is made of oak, and the smaller town table of mahogany, which you can tell by the much tighter grain.
The little trait that tells you that this is destined for a townhouse is you've got this little dish top around here. And that's a trait really that was designed for a townhouse. But the thing is, do you know what? They're both kind of yesterday's taste, so that's another thing I'm going to leave alone.
And you are the auteur of style, Mr. Serrell. Let's catch up with Catherine.
Ooh, can't resist. Can't resist a little game of poker. I am rubbish at poker, but I'll give this a go.
Poker dice are used as an alternative to cards, and instead of spots, have pictures on the various suits on their faces.
OK, let's get shopping. Cabinets, cabinets, cabinets. Now, most people would look at that, maybe a lipstick holder, but lipsticks in the 1930s, 1940s were much smaller in size. What else could it be? Remember these? There we are. You're playing poker, you're playing bridge with your friends. This is for the person who has everything. 1950s dice holder. But £159. It's not for me.
And any profits would collapse, like a house of cards.
No admittance, staff only. Sometimes if you make friends with the owners of the antique centres, they might let you come in and have a look at what's behind the scenes. Yes.
Well, hello, lovely, all right.
This is... How come you're in here?
Well, yeah, I get to all the best places.
How come you're behind the scenes?
Well, you know how it is. Do you feel at home in these?
Yeah.
Do you know what they are?
Well, from the set square, Masonic, I'm guessing.
Yeah, these are the Masonic chairs. And so you've got the worshipful master who's like the captain of the lodge.
That's you.
Yeah, obviously.
I know the secret handshake.
Go on then. Is that right?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, you are one, aren't you?
Oh, a proper one, I am.
Do you think I would be allowed in?
There are Lady Masons.
Can I come into your lodge?
Absolutely.
Come on, folks, this money isn't going to spend itself.
I've walked around the shop probably about 4 times now, and I think I've managed to find the ugliest thing in the shop. You might think, is it Phil Serrell? You're wrong. It's actually this, a Majolica water jug.
Lordy.
Looking at the base of it and the crazing, I would say it's got a little bit of age, so maybe 1940s, 50s. I think it's probably a parrot. I don't know. Or a cockatoo or something, probably a parrot, but a nice water jug.
This pretty fella is based on Victorian Majolica, tin glazed pottery, popular in the second half of the 19th century.
The only thing that worries me, can you hear that? Which normally is a sign that it's cracked. I'm just gonna test it out. Oh, cracky. Well, so far, so good. Doesn't appear to be leaking. Let's give it a try. There you go, out the beak. Perfect. I think £20, £30 would be quite cheap. Did you get it?
Hey, I do the puns. A little bird told me the price is £70, so you might have to ruffle some feathers.
Glad to see you're working hard, Martin.
Yes, yeah, that's it, yes.
They don't let you slack. Well, I found the ugliest thing. So what's the very best price we can do on this?
Well, I think it has been here quite a long while and it probably needs a new home, so how about £15?
That really is cheap.
£15? Are you
very
sure?
much. Yes, thank you,
You're
yeah.
happy?
Lovely. While Catherine retires to a corner to count a remaining £375, Phil's found a cabinet to nosy in.
So these are interesting, look, because we've got sugar tongs and we've got sugar nips. Now, these are bright cut silver, and they're kind of indicative of a lady called Hester Bateman.
An 18th century silversmith making high-quality items for the Georgian home. Hester Bateman is a name to look out for.
So they're priced up at £85. Honestly, I think they're 15 to 20 quid's worth without the Bateman name, but the Bateman name does add a certain cachet.
It is rather good, isn't it?
And there's a clue to how I know that, is because it says it on the label here.
Oh, you are an old devil, Philip.
These little sugar nips, they're less money. They're priced at £75. I would think they're probably last 25 years of the 18th century.
Before it was granulated, sugar came in blocks. Nips like these were used to put small lumps in your tea.
I'm going to have a chance with those.
At £75, best sweet talk Martin.
Martin, how are you? All right?
Hello, Phil.
These little sugar nips, I'd like to buy those for 20 or 25 quid. Could you do that?
I can do those for £20.
I'm going to shake your hand very quickly there. Look at that. Hold on to them. There we are, look.
Thank you very much.
That's easy. It's like shelling peas, isn't it?
So, the shopping concludes. Phil's purchase of the sugar nips leaves £275 in his purse.
What is that? It's so ugly.
Well, it's ugly, yeah. You're ugly, you make money. So, there's hope. For me
That's not me.
I'm in pain.
and my parrot.
frankly, I'd rather have my nips than her parrot.
Well, maybe both will fly at auction. On the way to the next shop, there's time to catch some sunshine, so roof down.
I was on Bondi Beach.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Say that one more time for me.
What? I was on Bondi Beach.
Yeah.
It was a day like today, actually. It was very cloudy.
You were a Bondi burn.
I turned into a lobster.
Philip now needs to claw back the auction score. So Catherine's dropping him off in Colchester. This town was the nation's seat of government in Roman times. Talking of capital, he's got £275 left, and the shoulder of mutton could be just the place to spend it. No, he's not here for a pint. The old boozer now stocks relics from a bygone age.
That's no good, what, the blooming no knob there. What have we got here? Well, this is it's kind of on the cusp, really, but the first thing you're going to do with the chair is just make sure that there's no breaks or damage to the legs, and these look okay. Like me, it's very distressed and unloved.
Or, just like you, we could say it's authentic.
20 years ago, a chair like this, £350. Today's world, well, on a bad day, you wouldn't be surprised if it was 30 quid. And on a good day, it might be 80.
But refurbished, it could last another 100 years.
No price on it, but I've got to try and buy it for around the £30 mark.
But all you need to do is get more money in the sale room than you paid, so don't rule it out just yet. Where's he off to now?
Look at that. Actually, do you know what? I think this is really a cool old thing, and it kind of reminds me of my dad in a way.
Phil's from farming stock, remember?
You've got the pulley here that you'd wind around there to start the thing, and it's a tarpon generator. I don't know how old it is. It says here it's 1930s or 40s.
Tarpon was a British company making garden machinery and electric generators from the 1930s onwards, and there's no shortage of collectors for them either.
Someone's put a lot of time and effort into restoring this. Do you know, I wouldn't know whether this was worth 30 quid or 300. But I kind of guess if I don't, other people might not either. And let's see if I can buy that.
And, with any luck, it will generate a profit. The ticket price is £120.
This is interesting, isn't it? So, this is a copper arts and crafts tray. But what really interests me is that you've got a galleon. And the man who made galleons and sometimes fish was a guy called John Pearson, who operated out of the Newlyn School. And it would just be fantastic to flip this over and find the initials JP on the back.
The Newlyn School produced decorative items, often arts and crafts, in design near Penzance from the 1880s onwards.
And of course, Serrell's law says it doesn't say JP anywhere. Because if it's Pearson, this could be £300 to £500 worth. But I don't think it's dear for what it is.
This is priced at £75.
I think this is well worthy of further consideration. Put it down there. I'll go and think what I'm going to do.
Decisions, decisions. Remember, the generator is £120, the tray is £75, and the salon chair is unpriced. Gird your loins, Sam.
I think you've got a really cool shop here. Thank you. Got some interesting things. I'd like to bid you 100, 110 quid for the three. What can you do?
150?
I meet you halfway. It's 135 quid. How's that?
135, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, I'll show you by that, mate.
Let's call it £55 for the generator, £45 for the tray, and £35 for the chair.
Thank you very much indeed, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Legs apart, lift together, off we go.
Time to find your buddy, Catherine.
I've had an exhausting day, you know.
Ah, chill day, actually.
Would you see yourself as one of life's great thinkers? I think you've answered it. There's no need to say anything else at all.
Well, tomorrow's going to involve a lot of doing and thinking. So, nighty-night. Next morning...
Do you know, if I had to choose between your singing
and you're car driving and you're whistling, I think I'll go and watch grass grow.
Why are you with me as your companion?
Because I love you dearly.
You don't like my driving?
No.
You don't like my singing?
Correct.
You don't like my whistling?
Absolutely.
What do you like about me?
I just love you.
Yesterday, Philip got a sweet deal on some sugar nips. Then he walked away with a salon chair,
Like me, it's very distressed and unloved.
a generator and a charger. He's got £140 left to spend.
Your money or your life?
Don't shoot.
Catherine's kitty is looking more healthy. She's left with £375 after picking up a parrot for £15, down from £70.
It'd be quite cheap. Did you get it?
You and I in this car, who does it remind you of?
I don't know. Who does it remind me of?
Well, if I said steady on, Bridge.
Oh, you think I'm like Bridget Jones? Thank you very much.
Well, this is what Hugh Grant drove Bridget Jones in on their way to their weekend away.
Did you really?
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't
This exact car?
Yes. Well, you're like Bridget Jones and I'm obviously like Hugh Grant.
With Phil dropped off, Catherine's heading to the first shop of the day at Braintree, 18 miles west, on her lonesome.
There's a lot to be said for solitude, for being by oneself, and the hum of the engine.
Braintree, which is famous for a stitch or two, firstly the cloth trade and then silk in the 19th century. But it's the town's antique centre where Catherine's hoping to weave some profit from manager Tom's carefully curated period pieces.
Something that catches my eye straight away is this lamp. A little bit like a banker's lamp. The thing that makes this a bit different from every other lamp is that this is articulated and actually rather beautifully made. It's brass, it's probably 1920s in date, and it's got this sort of mottled finish. I think that it might have been on a lady's desk, but I think that's one very smart object. I have no idea on price.
Well, you might have to speculate to illuminate.
Now, as hat boxes go, that is a very nice example. First of all, it's painted in this lovely tan hue. It's got these sort of patterns that give it a feeling that it's got a grain, so that it's supposed to be wood. Maybe like a sycamore or something like that. Isn't that lovely?
You could call it a decorator's piece. Well used, stylish, and you can keep much more than hats in it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just an early to mid-20th century hat box. There's nothing that special about it. But it looks a very nice example. And I think at auction, that's worth £40 of anyone's money. I'm going to go and have a word with Tom.
There's £375 in the kitty. Time for a game of cat and mouse with manager Tom.
Hello there.
Hi there.
The lamp had a ticket price of £90 and the hat box was unpriced.
It all comes down to money.
Right.
How does 80 sound on the two?
And come up a fiver.
Of course. I will stretch another fiver.
Back in.
Wonderful. Thank
Lovely.
you very much.
I'm sure it will sell well.
Let's call it £20 for the hat box and £65 for the lamp, which means the kitty is still pretty at £290. And while Catherine goes to find where she parked the motor, Phil's ended up in Chelmsford. Our esteemed auctioneer has come to hear about a first that took place here, one that changed all our lives. Yet it's something we often take for granted. At the City Museum, Sarah Harvey is going to reveal all and share the significance of a little-known wooden hut.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm Phil, how are you?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Why have you got a shed here?
Well, this is the shed in which the very first radio broadcasts in the UK were made.
Italian-born Marconi was only 22 years old when he invented radio. First used for ships to communicate, it was instrumental in alerting people to the sinking of the Titanic in 1912. But by the 1920s, it started being used for something very new, very exciting, and which happened in this very hut.
Nobody had thought about broadcasting to a group of people before, but as the amateur community grew, they started to do these broadcast tests at the Marconi Works in Chelmsford. They started off, the engineers were just reading out of Bradshaw's train timetables guide, but it wasn't until 1920 they bought Dame Nellie Melba, most famous opera singer in the world.
Great name, that. They call her Peach.
That's where the name comes from.
Does it really?
It was named after her, Peach Melba and Melba Toast.
Ah, everybody loves a dame, don't they? Well, not this time. An aeroplane that was in trouble couldn't call for help because the airwaves were plastered with the sounds of Nellie's pipes. Bigwigs in London were not amused.
They basically revoked the licence and shut down all of those experimental broadcasts. The Wireless Society of London made a petition of over 3,300 people who wanted to hear broadcasting happening again. So the government gave Marconi's a licence to do a weekly radio broadcast.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in this hut. Do you want to go and have a look inside?
Oh, I'd love to, please.
With a renewed licence, Marconi asked engineer Peter Pendleton Eckersley to be in charge. It would prove to be a landmark in the history of radio.
He was the head of the experimental design team. Head office would send down a kind of list of things that they were supposed to say and records they were supposed to play. So what would happen was that on a Tuesday evening, they would go to the local pub.
Sounds ideal to me.
Yeah, and they would have fish and chip supper and a couple of drinks, and then they would come back to do the broadcast in the evening at 7:30. There was a piano that was bought in a wheelbarrow from the local pub, and this went on for a couple of weeks until one week Peter Pendleton Eckersley had maybe one gin too many, and instead of doing all of the things that head office wanted to do, he picked up the mic and he talked. And he was a great raconteur, so he told stories, he told jokes, and he went way beyond the length of the programme that it was supposed to.
Complete maverick, almost.
Head office hated it, but they got hundreds of notes back from enthusiasts who had heard it, who absolutely loved it. I mean, Eckersley really was the very first radio DJ. Yeah. He made entertainment radio as we know it.
By 1922, 500,000 people were tuning in to the Pendleton-Eckersley broadcasts, and Marconi's radio rivals wanted in on the action.
There weren't enough frequencies for them all to have their own radio station, so the government was really in a bind, and so their solution was to just create one British broadcasting company.
The BBC?
It was, yes.
I got to tell you, I have had an overwhelming desire.
This is Philip Serrell for the BBC.
Thanks to Marconi and thanks to Eckersley, we've got the BBC.
Absolutely, yes. It all started here in this very inauspicious little hut.
Next door is the actual piano that featured in these very first radio shows.
I'm afraid it doesn't really work anymore.
No, a bit like myself, really.
Since when has that stopped, Mr. Serrell?
You ready? Dun, 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 dun. Don't know anymore. Sarah, that's been brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I'll go and get some piano lessons.
So, to see a modern radio station in action, Phil's been invited to take part in a phone-in for BBC Radio Essex.
Hi, Phil.
Emma, how are you?
So well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'm filming at the moment with Catherine Southon. Catherine is a great mate of mine. She's such good company, she's such good fun. I have to say, because she's not here, she's probably one of the worst drivers in the world. Right.
Oh, Philip, you absolute rotter.
We've got another caller here. We've got Claire, who's a big antiques fan. Hi, Claire.
Oh, hi there.
Blimey, Claire, are you all right?
Well, oh, Mr. Serrell, I'm such a fan of yours. Do you
Now you're embarrassing me.
Can I get a photo of him? Because I would love that, and a wee sort of signature.
Claire, is there anything else you'd like to say before you go? Because we need to play some more music.
Oh, I'm such a bad driver, am I? Philip Serrell.
I thought it was you.
You are always playing tricks on me, so now it's my turn. I will see you on the road. Enjoy the music.
God bless, love you lots, son. Cheers, bye.
She had you going for a minute, Phil.
I'm rather chuffed with that.
Thank you so much.
That was a phone-in show to remember. Nicely played, Catherine.
I got to tell you, you have got the worst Scottish accent in the world. I thought it was Mrs. Doubtfire on the phone.
Back to business and on to Manningtree. The last shopping destination of this trip. Once home to Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General. Now, which shop will have our duo spellbound? That would be the Emporium. Remember that Catherine has £290 and Philip just £140 to spend.
Scarf heaven, this is.
But that shouldn't be a problem for either of them in this huge Aladdin's cave.
Oh, I tell you what, just look at this lot. This is all part of my childhood. Look at this, isn't this lovely? This is an old steam engine. So you put your terps or whatever in there, and then you get your boiler all steamed up, and that piston would turn this wheel, and you'd have a belt across over here to another contraption. I mean, I can remember these things in farms in Worcestershire when I started, and it would be driving a chaff cutter or a corn mill or something like that. That's when you know you're old, isn't it? When things that you can remember as a kid appear in antique shops. Oh, blimey, that is scary.
Hey, you're not that old, and you've certainly got plenty of puff left in you.
I like that.
What have you found? Not that you need anyone's permission to spend the kitty.
Rust and signs. I'm always attracted to advertising signs. Tin on like a wooden frame. Look at these figures here in their white vests. They look very sort of, what am I thinking, chariots of fire. And then you've got this writing underneath. I'm pretty sure it's in Hindi, which I'm guessing is somewhere in the lines of on your marks, get set, go, that sort of thing. From their outfits, it looks a little bit sort of 1940s, 1950s. It's a bit different. I quite like that. It's got £98, but if a deal can be done, I'm the one that's going to be running to auction with this.
Well, you're already out in front, so a gold medal might be yours later on.
So here, look, we've got, these are Indian colonial kind of shutters for doors or windows. I think these are really cool. I haven't actually bought anything silly or daft on this road trip, but I have a feeling that might just about to be changing. But I think if you put these two together, side by side, put them in a steel frame, and then put a glass top on them, would you ever have a cool dining table? They'd be fantastic.
This is a thing of beauty. You might think that looks like a little lighter, or maybe like a little Vesta case, but there's no striker. Look at this. This is what we call a little purse watch. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's got a nice ribbed design of rose gold and silver. It's got the initial of a silversmith, SSM. They'll be the people who actually made the case, not the movement. 1933, so it's Art Deco.
Historically, ladies' fashion hasn't favoured pockets, so where better to keep her small timepiece than in your purse?
The movement will be Swiss. It looks like it's working beautifully. So often these get rubbed and the paint sort of flakes away over time, but that's all in really lovely condition. Price on this is £220, quite a lot of money. But I might buy this. I think that's really nice. You know what they say, your last spend, go big, go out with a bang. This is the one.
Well, the kitty is for spending after all.
Ken, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, and to you too. You've got those Indian colonial kind of shuttered doors. It's priced at 200 something, isn't it? You're not going to take 80 quid for it, are you?
No, it needs to be behind that. Can we start with a
£90? No?
3 digits.
If I gave you 100 quid, would you take it? Go on. Go on.
105 and I'll do a deal.
Go on. 8, 10 and a fiver. Thank you very much indeed. Thank
Pleasure.
you.
No problem.
See you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's Phil all bought up with £35 left over. Now it's Catherine's turn to haggle. She likes the Indian sign at £98 and then the pretty purse watch at £220.
What's the very best you can do on the purse watch?
I can probably get to something like 170.
About 170, okay. Right, That's a possibility. We're going somewhere on that one.
OK.
Now, the sign, I'm looking at around sort of 40, 50 on that.
I can do 50, Catherine. I can't go to 40, but I will do 50 on that one for you.
All right, you'll do 50 on that. I'm going to take that at 50 because I think that's good. How about if I gave you 190 for the two? How does that sound?
Yes, go on, we can do that.
Are you happy with that for the two?
No, we'll do that.
Wonderful. OK. Thank you very much.
So that's £50 for the sign and 140 for the watch.
That was good.
There we are.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. And that is me. On your marks, get set.
Go.
And I'm off. Thanks ever so much, Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Which concludes the shopping for Catherine and leaves
This
£100 unspent in the kitty.
is a lovely car. It's luxury.
Would you please concentrate on where we're going? Who's older, you or the car?
Oh, this car is up. How dare you?
What?
This car is 1960s.
What, you're not telling me you're younger than that, are you?
You are old.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't need you telling me that. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's like listening to school kids. Back to the dormitory with you two for some shut-eye. It's auction day in Aylsham, where Daniel Defoe, author of Robinson Crusoe, is said to have dined at one of the local pubs in the early 1700s. After their sojourn through Essex, our experts have lugged their lots to Aylsham in Norfolk for the final saleroom showdown on this trip. The current score is 3-1 in Catherine's favour.
Stonking things, Phil, we have here.
I know, but this is all about me getting some respectability back. 3-1 down. Look and learn.
You've got a lot to live up to.
Yes, expectations are high for the antiques. Keys Auctions are our hosts today, with bids on the book, on the net, and hopefully in the room. Master of Ceremonies is auctioneer Henry Hammond.
At £85, and then...
Catherine forked out £290 on 5 auction lots. What do you think, Henry?
I quite like this item. Old advertising signs are quite a popular market. Nice, attractive thing.
That is a good sign. Phil spent a little less, £260 on his 5 lots. Thoughts, Henry?
We live in a quite rural agricultural area here, and such things are very popular. And we have one particularly keen collector who I'm sure it will catch his eye.
We just need another person to want it too, and we could have a bidding war.
Well, here we go.
First to go under the hammer are Phil's sugar nips.
Sugar in your tea?
No.
Sugar in your coffee?
No.
Straight in here then at 5, 8, at 8 on the internet, then at 8, at 10, then at
Would you pay 20 or 25?
At 12 now.
You can't sell these for 12 quid, surely.
At 12, at 15 internet, then at 15. 15, 18, 20 now, at 22 then, at 22, 22.
Oh, we've raced away to a £2 profit, look.
At the back, 25, 25, 28.
Get in.
Hold on tight.
This is a roller coaster.
2, 32, 32, 35, 35, internet then at 35, at £35, and then...
What I have noticed is that Mr. Internet, he does have to buy some stuff, doesn't he?
He does.
We're off to a good start.
Stick around, boss, because we could make a few more profits.
Next up, it's big, it's bold, it's Catherine's Majolica jug.
Someone with a sense of humour would have this.
Or no taste at all.
And, yeah, but people love, like, it's quite kitsch and it's just fun.
£5 start on that one, at 5, then at 5, at 8, then at 8.
You see, they love it.
At 8, 10, then 12, at 12, at 12, 15, at £18, and done there, 20 at the back, then at 20.
How on earth have you made a
At
profit on
22
that?
then, at 22, 22.
I love it.
That may be the end of the road, at 22. Anybody else then? At
keep going.
£22, and done then.
He was a pretty boy.
Oh.
I think Philip's been pushed off his perch.
Well, that's a profit, and beggars can't be non-profit makers.
Absolutely.
So what's next?
Your salon chair, actually.
What's he going to make, Phil?
At 55, 55.
Well, it can't make a loss, can it?
At 60.
Can it?
At 60. At 60.
Can it?
At 65 then.
Come on, here we go.
At 5 straight in,
5
then
straight
at 8
in.
now at 8. At 8, at 8, 10 then at 10. At 12 now 15. Anybody at 18 now? At 18, at 18.
I'm feeling
at
your pain
18.
here.
20 now. at 20.
they're hesitating.
At 20. In the room, then. At 20 and done, then.
That is a bargain.
That is a bargain. Thank you very much.
One lucky bidder indeed. How are you feeling, Phil?
Here's an old joke for you. What do you call a pig with laryngitis?
An example there.
Disgruntled.
Don't worry, Phil. You've got 3 more chances to be in the money. Now, it's Catherine's hat box.
Great excitement. A couple of commission bids on this lot.
Oh!
12.
Good Lord above.
We have it £12 to start on this then at 12. At 12, at 12, 15, 18. At 18,
keep
at
going.
18. Anybody else? At 20 now, 22. 22. Anybody else?
Quiet here. Why? It's a hat box. I'm amazed. They love. This is making more than your chair.
£25 and done then.
Wow.
Catherine boxed clever and is ahead by a hat box.
I'm getting absolutely a complete trance in here.
Phil needs to level the scores with the doors.
So next up are my Indian shutter doors, but I think they're probably French.
French?
Yeah, je t'adores.
Je t'adore.
You bowl them, I'll hit them.
Oh, I love it.
I'd rather not. I think they're a really good decorative thing, but I'd rather not discuss the price.
Straight in we go at
£12 romping away.
15, then at 15,
Yes, come on, Phil. This actually could make a lot of money.
20, at 20. At
I'm
20,
with you, baby.
At 20. In the room, then. At 20.
No.
And then at 20 and 22, then. At 22, 25. Anybody else, then? At 20, 28, internet.
Internet's coming back.
Slowly. At 30. Anybody else, then? In the room, then. At 30 and done, then.
Phil's at death's door, all right.
Well, I'm sorry, because you actually took a big gamble there, and I admire you for that.
Next in the ring, it's the banker's lamp.
I tell you what, I saw this and I'm actually quite envious because I thought it was a lovely thing.
It's a lovely thing,
It's a really lovely thing,
really
yeah.
lovely.
And lighting in today's world is kind of really quite sought after.
Very modest start at 8, 10, 12 now.
Oh, come on, this is a really, really good thing.
At 12, 15, then at 15, 18. At 18, 20. At 20,
Oh,
2.
please.
25, 25. At the back. 28 then at 28, 30 at 30.
That is a good thing. Come on.
38 then at 38, 40 at 42.
Please.
45, 45, 48, 48, 50 at 55 then at 55, 60 at 65, 65, 70 at 75.
Well done.
75, 80 at 80 at 80. 5, 85, 90 at 90
done you.
at 90.
Thank
at
you.
90. 95, 95, 100. We've reached 3 figures at 100. At the back then, at £100. And done then.
Well done you. That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. I did not think that would do 3 figures.
Catherine's in profit with all her lots so far.
It was a really cute thing, a very nice thing.
Now, Phil just needs the smallest spark from his generator. Looks heavy, doesn't it?
But it looks sensational, and everyone is looking at it, and you made 55.
It's the sort of thing my dad would have bought. If I'm truthful, that's probably why I bought it. Trip down memory lane for me, this is.
That's very special, and that's why you bought it.
Yeah, so if it loses money, I'm going to blame my old man.
And we have several bits of interest in this. Have to start here at the dizzying heights of £22, 25, 25,
This man is
25,
having it, yeah.
28, 30, 32 now, 32, 35, 38, 40 now.
50. He's just shouted 50.
50. At 50. Big blow then at 50. Anybody else then? 55. 60.
He's having
5.
it. This guy is having it.
70. 5. 80.
Yes.
At 80. Knockout blow then at £80. And done then.
Well, that's the result, isn't it? I feel like I'm kind of elated about that.
Thank goodness. Phil's made some money with the generator.
He was going home with that no matter what. He'd have a job though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Hooray! Profit at last.
Next up, it's the Indian sign.
I thought it was quite cool.
I paid quite a lot, 50.
And we will get the bidding up and running at the very modest £5. At 5, at 8, then at 8. At 8, 10, now 12, 15, 18, internet. At 18, 20, at 20. 2 then, 22.
Come on, you'll never see another one of these in a, well, in a
You won't,
hurry.
would you?
25, 25. Anybody else? 28 now, internet. 30 on the internet. In the room, sorry. 32 now, internet. 35, 35, 35.
Come on, internet.
Anybody else then at 35? In the corner then at £35. And done then.
Catherine's luck hasn't held out.
That was disappointing.
32, 32, 32.
Thought that had legs. It had a few pairs of legs.
Next, Philip's last lot, the large copper tray.
What did you pay for this?
£45.
45.
Which I don't think it's dear, do you?
No.
Straight in at 10,
Nice
12, 15, 18, 20. At 20 now, at 20. 2 then
There
at
could be a nice little profit here, Phil.
25, internet then at 28. 30 then at 32, internet then at £32. To the internet then.
That tray was certainly a looker and a bargain to boot.
I'm sorry about that, because you should have... That should have made 50, 60 pounds.
Shouldn't have lost money, should it?
No.
Now, it all hangs on this lot. Will Catherine's big spend result in a big profit?
I think it's one of the best lots of the week that we bought. Or we've bought, you've bought.
I think... Well, thank you. This is my favourite item.
Your take-home thing. And I think this has got everything going for it, perhaps except the price. But we'll find that out, won't we?
And straight in on the internet then at 65, 65, 70.
Come on.
At 70, 75, 80 then. At 80.
Oh, this is such a nice piece.
At 80 on the 85 now at 85. At 85 in the room, not the internet. 90 internet. At 95, 95, 95, 100, 100, 110. 110 in the room then. Anybody else then? At £110. And done then.
Oh,
I think that's £100 like that.
A pretty thing, but not a pretty profit.
That is like a knife.
I think we need to go outside
Piece. Should we go and cry?
and regroup.
45, 45,
Ready?
45, 45.
Totting up the scores after auction costs, Phil has a loss of £98.46, as Catherine lost the least. She's today's winner, with minus £50.56 after auction costs. But she's also the overall winner this trip, beating Philip 4 auctions to 1. All those profits go to children in need. Well done.
Ha ha! I do believe that I might have won, haven't I?
Let me live this down.
Phil!
Ever.
Phil!
Ever, ever, ever.
Phil! I thought we were friends!
Of course you're friends. Only 2 besties could have had the fun you 2 have had. Together again.
Don't get out in the country much.
Catherine had a score to settle.
The last 2 times you have won.
But despite Phil bagging plenty of bargains,
This is really a cool old thing.
Catherine's lots swept her to victory.
Walk of Fame.
All right.